Good afternoon from the GoLocal Live Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center here in Providence. I am Rick Simone, host of The Taste, and today we are talking about captivating cocktails. This has been a segment I've been looking forward to. Everyone knows that I'm a big wine enthusiast, but I don't really cover a lot about cocktails. So I thought leading into the spring/summer period that we're going into, this would be a great opportunity to do that. So I got a couple housekeeping things I want to bring up before I start talking about who my guests are. One being that yes, next week I will absolutely be honoring National Wine Day, which is next Friday. Armando from Zuma could not wait to let that out of the bag. He had to make the announcement before I did. So Armando is correct. I will be covering National Wine Day next Wednesday, and it actually takes place on next Friday, so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to announce that this weekend I will be embarrassing myself nicely and participating in Bras for a Cause for the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation, which is a great client of mine. They have this wonderful event at Twin River this coming Saturday. Fred from Luca and Danny is coming in with Kate afterwards, so he'll be able to fill you in a lot more on his participation and what he's doing, but please check out social media and support however you can. Today, getting to the captivating cocktails, I have four very fun guests that I'm looking forward to bringing in. In just a minute, I'll bring in Jesse, who's with the Cortland Club, a very new venue, I think about 6 months old. Already getting rave reviews for their style, their structure of how they do things, and of course their cocktails. So it's going to be great to talk with him. I have Laura coming on, who is with Buns and Bites. Now, Laura has done miraculous things in a very short time, becoming a foodie, an Instagrammer, and a blogger. And I want to talk to her about how she got there and her appeal and the things that are going on with the various restaurants that she visits, as well as I want to find out some of her cocktails. So she's going to be joining me. I've got Marco coming in from the Black Sheep, which is, I'm losing my balance here, he's right down this way in downtown Providence. They become known as this also neighborhood bar for the Down City area, and they've come up with some pretty creative cocktails over there, so we're going to get an overview from them. They're celebrating, I believe, their 1-year anniversary just now. And then my final guest is going to be Vito, and Vito is the cocktail guru over at the Dorrance and has created some amazing things, and they have an extensive cocktail list. And also for the last, I forget how many years they are now, been getting rave reviews across the country for their cocktail list. So I've got Vito as my last guest from the Dorrance. So to kick things off, let's get Jesse in here so we can get going and talk about what's happening at the Cortland Club. Hey, look at this. How are you, sir?
Hey, Rick. How are you, sir?
Good. Look, hey,
brought you a little something there.
This is going to be a whole new world for me learning about all these things, so I'm very excited to do it. And we got some other great items that he's already brought in, but before we get to food and before we get to these captivating cocktails, I really want to get a little bit of an overview because you're so new. Is it 6 months, am I correct?
6 months, just
6
about,
months.
yep.
So tell us where the Cortland Club is and kind of give us a visual of everything you got going on there. A verbal visual, if you will.
So we're a little cocktail bar on the west side of Providence. We're located at 51 Cortland Street. It's kind of a nondescript residential neighborhood, sort of in between Westminster and Atwells.
Yep.
We're an old building that had a few different uses over the years. The building dates back to sometime around 1900, but somewhere around the 20s, it became a bakery and then was a series of different bakeries over the years. Krugnali was in there at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then around somewhere in the 40s, it became a social club, and then it became a couple other social clubs over the years for probably the next 40 or 50 years, actually.
That long, huh?
Yeah, it was, you know, kind of men's club. There was an Italian-American club kind of thing for a while. The San Bernardino Men's Club, I think, had a chapter in there for a little while.
So it really kept its consistency going there.
There's a lot of history of it being a club. So Jay Scheckman, my boss who owns the building there, he bought the building a few years ago.
Okay.
He's not really in hospitality. He's more of a real estate guy.
Got it.
But he saw, you know, some potential in this space, and he brought me in to look at it. And you know, it took a long time to get the ball rolling, like probably close to 2 years. But here we are finally, and you know, 6 months in, we've turned it into a kind of new version of a social club. So
yeah, and that's what I mean. That's how you're kind of paying homage to what was there before you.
For sure.
The reviews and the things that are out there. First of all, I got to say that your website is amazing. You guys cover everything on the website, even listing all the people that are involved and how your disciplines are, what you're doing. Your name's on there, all that stuff. So I thought that was great. The social media you've started is fantastic, and you're getting rave reviews for your cocktails and your theme already. I know that the Journal did a coverage on you recently. I've seen a whole bunch of things out on social media of people checking in there. So in 6 months, you know, what took 2 years to get there, in 6 months, you're really darting off the ground, so to speak, to go there.
We've had a really, really warm reception so far from really everyone. We have a pretty eclectic group of people that come in, young, old, people from that, you know, live in the neighborhood.
Right.
people that have read about us in the Projo and come in to check it out.
And after today, you'll have everybody watching the show, I hope. So,
of course.
So to go back to the homage point, and Kate was educating me on this before this because I hadn't realized this. So there is this club element that is available that's out there, right?
Of course. Yeah. We are 100% open to the public, but we have kind of kept membership as part of the club. So we look at it as sort of a you know, like a museum membership.
Gotcha.
So you can pay $100 a year, and you get access to a couple little perks that we offer.
$100 a year.
Yeah, it's not a ton of money.
No.
We kind of think of it as like the price of almost a beer a month at your bar with a tip. You know,
so what kind of membership?
You know, for that you get access to reservations. You know, on a Saturday night, if you have your 4 friends, and you know, 8:30 or 10 o'clock, you want a spot when it's kind of a busy part of the night. You're able to make a reservation as a member. We hold different events, wine tastings, spirit tastings, cocktail tastings for members specifically.
Nice.
And then also we host different, we've done a couple guest chefs dinners so far. We've had Jake Rojas from Tallulah's, and we had the guys from El Rancho Grande.
Oh, that's awesome.
So members have access to tickets to those things before the general public.
We had Joaquin in a couple weeks ago for Cinco de Mayo from El Rancho Grande.
Of course.
So you're bringing that. That's an awesome thing to do. I love seeing that. And this goes back to a lot of what we talk about on the Taste is the collaboration locally. Is that local businesses are supporting each other. It's not this heavy competition draw for different things. To hear that you've got these chefs that are coming in and kind of doing a pop-up with you, I think that's a lot.
It's been great. And also to their credit, our kitchen is about half the size of this small studio here. We don't have a real kitchen, so it takes them out of their element a little bit, and that's sort of what we want, not necessarily for them to come and do exactly what they do at their restaurants. But it's been great and really well received, and they've gone over, you know, really, really well. We can't be more excited about it.
So you've got the public side, which is important to put out there. So you definitely can go in at any time, but these preferred perks, these different perks that can come with, people can stop in and find out about the memberships or do it online, or is that just to come into the club?
You can go online and fill out, we have a little questionnaire. It's nothing serious.
Okay.
It's just us getting to know a little bit about you, so we have a reference point as to kind of where to start our relationship with you.
Perfect.
You can also come in. We have the same thing right in the bar. Just come in and talk, and we'll talk to you. You know, give that to you. I mean, you know, we're
keep it informal.
Again, it's very informal, and we really encourage people to come. And there's been a little bit of a, you know, misconception that we are completely a private club.
Well, we're taking care of that now. So not a private club, but you can get some nice perks if you decide to do it. So that's a good segue in talking about also your guest chefs and about the size of your kitchen. Let's go into talking about the concept internally, because these cocktails, I mean, their photographs have been unreal, and what you brought today. So let's talk about the style of your menu, before, and then we'll go to the cocktails after that to kind of go there. So tell us about what you are able to carry and what you put out, because you've got some cute little things here today.
Of course. So, I mean, we certainly think of ourselves as a cocktail bar first and foremost. That is the focus. That's the majority of our business. But we're all, you know, we love food, and we all have kind of eclectic tastes. So our food menu has really become sort of eclectic bar snacks with I would say, kind of a global influence.
Awesome.
So it's not necessarily your chicken wings and your burgers and your, you know, stuff like that, but we have a couple other things.
You're taking it up a notch.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you see a little Portuguese, you see a little Japanese, you see a little bit of Jewish influence. We kind of, you know, hitting on a few notes to keep it a little interesting.
That's awesome. So what did you bring today?
Over here, this is one of our house favorites. This is Clams Cortland. It's sort of our take on a stuffy.
Yeah.
We utilize, you know, local quahogs with Portuguese sweetbread stuffing that has a little bit of alheira, which is also a Portuguese sausage, and a little bit of chili, so a little bit of heat, but it's just the whole clam on the bottom with the stuffing on top. Super popular for us.
Super delicious too.
You know, this with a beer or a nice glass of crisp white wine, maybe some bubbles, is just a great little snack to have at the bar.
Absolutely.
You know, also like on the snacky side, we have the pistachios over here, Rick. These are, you know, again, just a simple thing to have at the bar with a drink. These we spice with za'atar.
I was going to say, I see the spice in there.
Yeah,
what is za'atar?
Za'atar is a kind of Middle Eastern spice that incorporates oregano and a couple other herbs that we're familiar with, but most importantly, sumac.
So does it make it hot and spicy, or just a little zest?
The sumac actually has a lemony flavor. So you get this kind of citrusy brightness, and then a little bit of the kind of herbal from the other herbs. So it's just a kind of, you know, slightly exotic spice blend that lends itself to, you know, some pistachios.
And that's my kind of thing to eat at the bar, so I love that. That's perfect. And what is this creative thing we have here?
So this over here is, this is basically our kind of play on chopped liver, if you will.
Look at that.
It's a chicken liver puree. that we've topped with Manischewitz gelée. Manischewitz is a kind of sweet kosher wine.
Right.
So you've got a little bit of sweetness to kind of cut some of the richness of the
layered in here.
chicken liver itself, and then we serve that with matzah crackers over here and a little bit of pickled onion and cucumber.
Amazing.
So kind of a Jewish sort of influence here. This has been also extremely popular for us. The pate itself is really rich, really creamy, really delicious. Rich Abruzzese runs the kitchen for us. He's really the heart and soul of the place. We do stuff like this too, but we also do pizzas. We have raw oysters.
So you really got a nice mix.
It's a little eclectic, but also some stuff that's more familiar to a lot of people.
But I mean, to your credit, and congratulations to you, Rich, and the chef being in the kitchen, because to put this stuff together, and we're going to get to the next part of the cocktails here of how things pair up and stuff, but this is creative. I mean, I would love to walk in and see all of this. This would make me feel comfortable at the bar and know that I can try all these different things.
Thank you, Rick.
And I'm I'm going from the wine enthusiast side to learning more and more about the cocktail side of things, which you're going to help me educate on now. But this is creative. This is a very creative approach to taking it. And in 6 months, I can see why people are enjoying it. So congratulations to all you guys.
Thank you for that. So should we talk about some drinks?
We have to, because this is mesmerizing to me.
Well,
so
I'd like to actually start with the one that I brought in for you, because you said you're a wine enthusiast.
Yep.
So yes, cocktails are a huge draw, and they really are our biggest seller at the club. But we love sips of interesting spirits and different fortified wines, and what you have here is a vermouth.
Really?
So just a straight up Spanish vermouth. It's a Blanco style vermouth, so it's going to be a little bit sweet, but it's a white style. And so again, this is wine at the end of the day. You're a wine enthusiast. This is infused wine.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
This to me is just such a cool serve. It's inexpensive. You can pour this at your house over ice. We serve it with a little bit of lemon, with an orange zest, and an olive. And it's just a very complex, simple way to enjoy a really amazing flavor.
And it's vermouth?
It's straight up vermouth. It's called Accia Amurio vermouth.
My God, it's amazing.
Vermouth is something that has kind of been vilified over the years. It's sort of making a comeback the last few years, but a lot of people think they don't like vermouth. And I mean, I have guests that come in so skeptical, but they're intrigued and they try it.
It's so light, it's refreshing.
It is so light, so refreshing. I mean, this is summer in a glass to me.
Absolutely.
And think of you having a party at your house when you're hosting people. You don't want to be sitting there mixing cocktails.
This might replace my gin and tonic.
You just pour that over ice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Put a little zest of lemon on
Taylor,
top.
I hope you got a good picture of this one, because this might be my new summer drink.
So that's a cool example of what we do. We carry a kind of eclectic mix of different spirits and different sherries, vermouths. We have European eau de vies, just some different offerings.
So the lemon and the orange kind of melds into the taste of it, because I'm getting both of that already right now.
For sure. The lemon really, the lemon, we zest, we twist the zest over, so the oils from the lemon really kind of fall over the drink, and that's very aromatic, and that really brings out a lot of the aromas in the vermouth. I mean, vermouth is wine that's been fortified with a little bit of alcohol and then infused with citrus peels, herbs, spices.
I'm loving this.
It's a very interesting and delicious thing, and kind of, it's making a little bit of a comeback. So I love being able to serve that to the guests, and they've enjoyed it.
That's awesome. What's next?
I'm going to segue over here now. Perfect segue, actually. So this is our version of a gin martini. Gin martini also has vermouth in it. Dry vermouth and gin is traditionally a martini.
Right.
So simple drink. What we do differently, we call this the lupini martini. So
lupini.
A lupini bean. Have you ever had a lupini bean?
No, I don't think so.
A lupini bean is, we call this Portuguese edamame. It's a little bean, and on one end there's a little pip, if you will.
Okay, yeah.
You put that in your mouth and you squeeze on the husk, and the bean shoots out, and you put the husk in this little dish right here.
Get out of here.
So anyways, it kind of replaces the olive.
I might start drinking more cocktails. This is interesting.
This tastes like ricotta cheese to me.
Get out. I'm trying one.
Try one. They're really, really, really
So I push it out through the pip.
Yep. And it can kind of shoot out. Be cautious.
Delicious.
So anyways, to me, well, let's get to the drink itself. So what we do that's unique with this martini is we don't dilute the drink.
I might just buy those and eat those.
They're an amazing snack. Martinis usually gin or vodka and vermouth, and you stir it and you dilute it and you chill it like that. What we do a little differently is we freeze the whole drink. So we mix it. Okay. We use a gin from Maine. We use a dry vermouth from Italy, and we use a little tiny bit of bergamot liqueur just for a little bit of body. Okay. But then we put it in the freezer, and if like a lot of us have put, you know, that Absolute bottle in the freezer, and when it freezes, it gets really kind of thick and greasy in texture, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've kind of done that, and that's like, instead of this drink being diluted, it's all alcohol. So you get a little more texture on the pour itself.
Okay.
And you're not, I mean, this is really strong. So you see we serve it in this tiny little glass. It looks kind of like, what is this? But you're getting like
heavy,
saturated flavor. This is like a very, very intense, I'd say, saturation of martini flavor. We just zest a little bit of lemon over the top, and again, you serve it with the lupini beans. These kind of cut some of the richness with that fattiness, you know. So you get a really cool little balance.
I've got to find
here.
these beans because I'm like, I might eat the rest of those on you.
Have a sip of this, Rick.
So now you said this is high in alcohol content.
This is high in alcohol. I mean, this is, again, this is a gin martini done really, really kind of in a new way.
Flavor though on it.
A lot of very intense flavors. The gin itself is very dry and has a very kind of unique aromatic profile, I'd say. But you definitely get the lemon zest on top, so that kind of lightens it up. But, you know, a really cool drink, and you know, a drinker's cocktail, if you will. This is not for the faint of heart.
No, but I know a lot of people that would enjoy something like that. So all this concept of things going here, kind of, before I let you go, you're creating amazing things. Is it every day that you're putting in new stuff, that you're creating new ideas, new concepts coming in? Are you changing them the menu regularly?
Because we've been open 6 months, we pretty much stayed drink-wise with where we've been.
Okay.
Now that the weather is getting a little warmer, we are definitely leaning into some more spring and summer type
with
drinks.
the ingredients and things that you can
We're
pull.
working on those right now.
So what's the last one that you brought?
This last drink here, this has been our most popular drink at the club. This we call this the Mother Teresa. It's a play on a drink called the Teresa cocktail, which traditionally is, it's a classic cocktail that's a little lesser known. That's Campari, creme de cassis, and lime juice.
Okay.
We played on that. We added beet juice. We added raspberry puree.
Really?
We added mezcal. We added a little bit of Campari. We added a little bit of a lime syrup that we make, and we added rose water. So this drink is just a lot going on, and it sounds kind of crazy, but it's been so popular. Mezcal is very popular these days. And the earthiness of the mezcal really pairs well with the beet, and it adds to a really complex drink, but it's still really light and refreshing. And that smokiness that people sometimes are a little hesitant about with mezcal is really kind of tampered by the rest of the ingredients in the drink.
All right, so needless to say, I'm going to be visiting the Cortland Club and probably doing a Facebook Live with Jesse because this is all awesome to me, and I will be finished the vermouth and those beans when I get off the set. Jesse, thank you for making the time to come in today. This was fantastic. Congratulations to you guys over there and creating it and the space you've done. It's really something to look forward to, and I think a lot of people will be checking you out very soon. So thank you for making the time.
Thanks, Rick.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Taylor, you're not drinking my vermouth. That is so good. All right, I'll let you grab those because they're going to take you a second to get it out.
We're clearing all this, right?
Yep, you're going to take it all right out. This was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Cool, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, as Taylor gets me ready for the next one. So I was mentioning before that my surprise guest in this twist of it today is going to be Laura from Buns and Bites. And I'm going to bring her in just a second as soon as we set this up. But if you have not seen yet, you need to go to her Instagram right now while you can to check out Laura from Buns and Bites. Her Instagram is awesome. So we're going to get into that, how she got started. Those things look good too. You got them? Yep. All right. All right, Laura, is she here? She good? Laura, come on in, join me. Hey, oh, and she comes with a drink.
I did.
How are you?
Just for you.
Awesome.
How
nice
you doing?
Good, nice to see you. Thanks for making time to get in. She's been very busy. We actually got together for breakfast, my God, was it a couple days ago, Monday or something?
It was, yes.
We got together. So she's very busy, and if you check out her Instagram, you understand why, and it is Buns and Bites. I'm following her, and I found it fascinating how she got started, and also in a very short time, the following that you've gained.
Yes.
So before we get into some of our fun question stuff, tell us a little bit about how you got started and your feelings and kind of premise behind your becoming a foodie now. So
Right. Well, I should start by saying that I felt like I was always a foodie, which kind of led me to wanting to start the Instagram. So I wanted to compile a list of all of my favorite restaurants in Providence, all around Rhode Island. I think that this is like the foodie state.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to have something that was a little bit different, that was genuine and original, and that definitely let me be creative. And as you can imagine, incorporating buns into food, you have to get a little bit creative. So it's always a lot of fun. And it started with looking into what things I really like and what I think that other people really like. And as a young woman, I think that I can really appreciate a good behind. And I think that almost everybody can too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So Buns and Bites started as a way to share my favorite eats and to also appreciate and love your body and love yourself. And we really wanted to emphasize working with women of all shapes and sizes to emphasize positive body image.
And I think that it's extremely goes to your credit of this. And I was, joking around with people yesterday as we started promoting today's segment that people are fascinated just by the fact that that's the stance that you've taken. There's no body shaming. There's no anything like that. And it's very tasteful. Like if you look at how you've done it, it's incredibly tasteful. It's fun. And you have been, in a short time, you've been all over the state.
Yes.
You've been everywhere.
Yes.
So, that's what I found fascinating by it. I'm happy to see that someone locally has started this and propelled it. I'm hoping that after today, it keeps going for you and that we find ways that this becomes your full-time job that you're at that. Because it's really wonderful how you've got it going. And I think, have a sex appeal with everything is fantastic. And I think you're doing it in the right way. And I think that people are appreciating it and loving you for that. So all these restaurants, all these lounges, all these bars have been reaching out to you, and you've had some fantastic pictures with a lot of different people, a lot of different friends and things, I'm assuming, right? So is it now that people are starting to reach out to you and want to be involved? Do you want to have their pictures taken in and doing it?
It's a little bit of both. So I've been lucky enough to have a lot of friends who are willing and able to help me take pictures and model for me. But all of our models are everyday girls. You don't have to be a model, professionally. So a lot of them are just my friends. And I would say that one of my favorite parts about Buns and Bites, aside that I get to eat amazing food all the time, is that I've met so many awesome girls that are, really killer in their careers, and they're just motivated and they're happy to be involved with Buns and Bites, and I really love that. I've made new friends, like actual good friendships out of Buns and Bites, just meeting girls through Instagram. So yes, more restaurants and models are reaching out to me who want to be involved.
And you had a very special Mother's Day model that joined you, your mom. I thought that was beautiful.
My most special model, Mom did get involved. She had a good time.
I thought that was
She
awesome.
was a little bit nervous, but I was like, it's okay, I'll help pose you, so it's fine.
Well, she looked beautiful, and you guys looked beautiful together. It was great. And yesterday I had a friend of mine that reached out to me asking about you coming on, and Kristen Frazier. So I'm giving you a shout out, Kristen, because you reached out to me yesterday. Now you know Laura, and I think all of us need to get together for a cocktail so that you can talk to her some more, because what she's doing is fantastic, and I think more people should be getting involved with you. So tell us about, and you brought me a little surprise here today. What's this? Where'd this come from?
So, funny name.
A funny
name? It's called the Booty Call. Isn't that just so good? So this is from Troop.
I love it.
If you haven't been to Troop, you have to check it out. It's such a great place, killer vibes.
Yeah. We covered them when they first opened. I think we had Sean on that came on. Sean Larkin came on for us. Yep.
Perfect. So, of course, the name, the Booty Call, kind of caught my eye, because I know I'm a sucker for
They're going to have to start naming drinks after
know,
you guys.
Right?
So.
So it's called the Booty Call, but really when I look at a cocktail list, I always scan the menu for Mezcal.
Okay.
And I'm sure, and we were just talking about Mezcal.
Yeah, Jesse just brought it up.
Yeah. And it's one of my favorite liquors to drink. It's got that nice smoky, earthy flavoring, and I love it because you can pair it with bitter, you can pair it with super sweet, with berries. So this is some Mezcal with Aperol and black cherry, and then there's some mint and some blackberries for garnish. So I think that you should
I'm going to have to taste it. This is going to be a rough day for me. Whoa.
Ooh,
beautiful color.
Drips. Yes.
No worries. Oh my God, it's got a beautiful aroma to it too. Oh my God, it's delicious.
Yes.
And they just whipped this up before you came over.
They whipped it right up for me.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much to the crew over there.
So Audrey is the one who came up with this drink.
Audrey, nice job.
Really appreciate
nice job, nice name, good job, Audrey.
Yes.
Troop is a
so
great place to
This is one of my go-to cocktails. I really think that the days of just going with a standard rum and Coke or something like that are kind of dwindling down. I think that people really order craft cocktails that are creative and refreshing. They want to sip on them and enjoy them. So.
And you're seeing them, as Instagram has taken off to become a foodie kind of social media outlet, you see more and more of these cocktails and more types of food out there that are coming up. So I agree with you, and I think that those old traditions will still be there, but I think these new drinks are going to keep coming, and this one is amazing. So all the places you're going, you're all over the place, and you've got, it seems like you've almost got a new post up every day. Is it pretty close to, right?
Yeah.
So of all the places that you've been tasting some amazing drinks and some amazing food. I was just, the other day, I think you were at Iggy's is one of the ones that I saw, right?
Yes, I was
and you
at
had
Iggy's.
a spread that was massive across the table.
Oh my gosh, that's a question I get all the time that says, or maybe a statement I should say, she doesn't actually eat all that food. And I'm like, of course, I cannot eat the 12 pounds of seafood in front of me, but I usually always come with some friends, a photographer, another model, and we go to town, we eat. You know, so no
we do
food is
the
ever
same
going
thing
to
here.
waste.
Don't worry, guys. I don't waste
Yeah,
anything when they
it's
come here
not
either.
going to waste.
So, of all the things you've been out there, what are some of the standouts recently? Not so much the venues you've been to, but what some of the eats are, some of the drinks are that you've looked forward and think are going to be great for the summertime, because people are following you to see where you're going.
Yeah.
So they kind of want your opinion, and that was one of the questions I got. Is they're like, what is she liking? What's some of the new stuff she's tried that's out there?
Yeah, so I think that there is like a new place popping up every day, it seems
Right.
as though. So I'm always trying to keep up with what's new and what's fresh. But some of my favorite things to eat, especially in the summertime, has got to be seafood. Where the Ocean State, there's some great seafood right here in Providence if you can't make it down to the beaches area. But really, I think that I'm personally a big sweet person. So I seek out the sugar. That's what I'm doing. I have a big sweet tooth. I want the sugar. But I would say that one of my favorite things that I have encountered in the past year of doing Buns and Bites, and I've said this before, was the waffles, the Burgundian waffles.
Oh yeah, he
the
was great. Yes.
Liège waffles.
Yes.
It's like completely blown my mind. Liège waffles are just so incredible. Like their texture, their consistency. You can make it sweet, you can make it savory. Oh my gosh.
He
That's
joined us
probably
and he was talking about it. And
yeah.
just the concept behind making them was
Yes.
like you wouldn't think about for a normal waffle to come
Right.
out. And I think he's still doing. I think he's still got his Kickstarter or whatever it is that he's
Yeah,
doing out there to
with
raise
the
funds for.
bus.
Yeah, because that bus is going to be amazing.
It's gonna be awesome.
I ran into him at Eat Drink RI at the convention center a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. He was doing some tastings there. But
You're gonna
you're
see me
right. I
driving
like
that bus around, eating a
Oh
waffle.
my
at
God,
the
you should
same
do an event on
time.
that bus.
I think
we
I
should do a
too.
Buns and Bites event on that bus. Bring the booty call
Yes,
on there.
I'm gonna
So
bring
all
the
these
booty
things
call.
keep coming together. Drive that thing around the city.
Yes.
Before you know it, we're both going to be out there drinking all day.
Yes.
So your experiences in doing this has been fantastic.
Yes.
We're hoping that this becomes kind of a full-time thing for you as you keep moving forward. Is there plans to kind of go to spots outside of Rhode Island as well, or are you going to keep it focused on Rhode Island for now?
For the most part, I'm focused on Rhode Island predominantly, but I think that, of course, if opportunity calls, I will go to Boston, I'll go to New York, just try, especially in my travels, if I'm in another place, I'd be happy to try, look up whatever is, exciting and new there. So for the most part, we do focus on Rhode Island. This is my home, and it's what's special to me.
Right.
But absolutely branching out little by little, just getting to try little tastes elsewhere.
So did you ever think, if you saw, how long have you had this one going now?
This has been for just over a year.
So just over a year. And you
Yes.
celebrated your 1 year, I think, actually,
We did.
Black Sheep, who's
Yes,
coming on
we
next,
did. We
right?
celebrated at
You had a
Black
party
Sheep.
there.
Yes.
So did you ever think, going back a year, that you'd be where you are now?
No, definitely not. Nope. I've had this idea in my mind for quite some time, for maybe like 2-3 years, but I always thought it was just kind of crazy,
Right.
like who was going to actually get on board with this. And so I ended up reading a self-help book.
Really?
You Are a Badass. I don't know if I can say that, but it is, that's the name of the book. It was awesome, and I read the last page, and I said, oh my God, I've got to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, a good
Wow.
time, and if people don't like it, they don't like it, but, I've had a pretty warm reception in
Absolutely.
Providence, and so we're definitely going to keep it going.
So, and something I want to give her absolute credit for too on this is that a lot of these that you look at, you can open up someone's Instagram account that's out there promoting food, wine, fashion, what have you, that's out there, and you'll see 20,000 followers or you'll see 50,000 followers. And a lot of times looking at them, and you guys and I had this conversation, you can see if someone went in, found a way to purchase a whole bunch of followers or to get people up there to make their numbers look good and kind of get to the point where they're kind of selling themselves out a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kind of
absolutely.
it's a little more self-promotion than you would normally think. Your case has not been that, and it was very easy to tell in checking your followers, seeing the amount of people that interact with you and the
Yes.
engagement. So, I mean, you're very organic in the
Yes.
nature of what you've done things. So congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
because it's not an
And
easy thing to do.
I appreciate that it's noticed. It's
Yeah.
the word organic, it's very important that we remain organic and that we're not buying followers and we're not buying engagement. We really want to make sure that our followers are interacting with us because we want to hear from our audience. We want to know, where do you like to go out to eat?
Right.
Where do you want to see us going out to eat? Maybe you've got a best friend who you think should model for us. Send her our way.
There you go.
We want to get involved with everyone and be a part of the community as best as we can.
And I got to end with telling you that she has some awesome contesting that goes on in there. If you check away, it
Yes.
seems like you're always got someone that's partnering with you to give away a gift certificate for
Yeah.
this or go there. Or even, I know you're working with Lupe and Pat
Yes.
for the upcoming event that's coming on.
Cannot wait. It's
The
going to be such a good time.
Taste of Rhode Island, right? Am I
Yes,
messing up?
that's right.
Taste Rhode Island that's going at the Crown Plaza.
Yep,
So I
June
want
6th.
so I want to give them a big shout out because Laura's been helping them as
can't
well,
wait.
and it's a great event. A lot of restaurants participating. So Pat and Lupe, you better be paying attention. I gave you a nice shout out. So, but there's all sorts of gift certificate things she's done. A lot of ways for you to engage with her, and I think that, like she said, to follow her, to make suggestions. And I know that people were asking me earlier, is there a way that we can go with her to do a picture? And reach out to her, check with Laura,
Yeah.
see what the best way to get connected and do it is. But congratulations to you again, and thank you for bringing me this nice drink to taste.
Absolutely, I think
This
I'm
is
gonna go
fantastic.
have some of it
You should go
myself.
finish the rest of it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring Marco on in one quick second. All right, Taylor, we ready? Yep. All right, so this, I'm hoping that Marco is not like his brother because, oh, there we go, see? So Joaquin, who is from El Rancho Grande, or your family as well, for El Rancho Grande, was on a couple weeks ago when we were covering Cinco de Mayo, and he stole the show from me. So I told Marco he couldn't do the same thing. This is
I'll try
awesome.
not to.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to eat one of these. I'm sorry.
No
How are
worries.
you? Good to see you.
Marco,
Thanks for
pleasure.
making it in.
My pleasure. my
So
pleasure.
Black Sheep, I want to kind of talk about where it is and its location because you guys have just reached. Oh wow, this is fantastic. You guys have kind of just reached that. Is it the 1 year mark now?
The 1 year mark.
Okay. So Buns and Bites and you were celebrating at the same time this
Yeah,
1
yeah,
year
yeah.
anniversary, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So kind of give us a visual. I know, and I've become this Rhode Islander that always says what was there before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let you kind of say where you're located, kind of give us a verbal visual of what Black Sheep is and the space that it's in.
So Black Sheep's located on the corner of Empire Street and Westminster. It's where the old Finnegan's Wake was.
Yeah.
I'm sure as
It's a landmark.
most Rhode Islanders were getting in there pretty tuned up in there, which is, I mean, it's a cool culture to have. We just hit our 1 year. It's been a fantastic year for us. Still trying to progress and trying to grow.
Where did the concept come from? Where did you guys have the idea? Because it's a group of you, right, that came together?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it was actually Oscar, one of my partners from Brass Monkey, had reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, listen, working on this project. Love for you to be part of it," which is why I'm here with the cocktail side of things. But it was a culmination of a lot of Black Sheep misfits almost, where it's like
Nice, okay.
that's where the
name came from?
about. More or less. That also that hip hop group, the Black Sheep as well, kind of paying homage to them as well.
I like that.
So it's a fun time. I mean, still again lively nightlife, but
Yep.
we also have some really delicious food.
Now, the space is big. Finnegan's was a big space, and it had, I think in time they expanded to that back room that's there, and you still have that back
We do have
area
the back
though,
room.
right?
Yep. At one point, we did have the arcade games back there. Kind of pushed everything to the front.
Okay.
But also kind of using the back room now for kind of a
Event space then?
Event space, yeah.
So how often is Black Sheep open? What are your hours?
We're open 7 days a week. Sunday to Thursday, we're open from 11 to 1.
Oh, so you
and
do
then
lunch and dinner completely?
lunch and dinner.
Okay.
And then Friday, Saturday, 11 to 2 in the morning.
Okay, wow, okay. So when I stopped in the other day, there was like 7 people that I knew that were in there enjoying. It seems like you've become, and the phrase I used was like the downtown neighborhood bar.
And that's actually one thing that we wanted to accomplish. Like, there's not a lot of neighborhood spots downtown, if you will. People want to kind of kick back and unwind after work and kind of lift their feet up after a long day.
And you've got more and more people that have moved to this downtown core, you
Yeah.
know, the Westminster Way, Bassett area, that have moved down here, that are looking for these spots to go to. And also you've got a hospitality mix. When I stopped in the other day, there was 5 guys that were from different restaurants that were in there.
Yeah.
And it seems like
and,
that.
and that's one of the good things about the hospitality industry. We're always looking out for each other and supporting
Right.
each other. So
And we talked a lot about that, about the camaraderie and supporting and being there. But it's nice to have a spot. If you're in the hospitality industry,
Yeah.
you know that you can go to kick back and relax,
Exactly.
like you're saying. So that's, again, to you guys' credit and what you've created in the atmosphere. And your menu seems pretty diverse. So let's talk about the style of the menu, because you got lunch and dinner.
Yep.
So let's talk about the style of the menu, and then you can tell me some of the items you brought here, because I know I'm diving into one of these in a second.
No worries. For the most part, I mean, we started off kind of like a bar heavy style almost. The classics, the burger, the sandwiches. We have meatball sub on the menu that we actually make our meatballs in-house as well.
Awesome.
And then we knew that wasn't going to be the end game. We wanted to kind of progress from there as well, so which is why we have a salmon dish that's pan-seared salmon that's served over jasmine rice, a little fried Brussels sprouts on the side as well.
Awesome.
Again, little kind of Texas barbecue sliders, the little coleslaw and chipotle aioli.
Vitaly, you getting these? Because he's like...
And then we like to switch things up a bit, so we have a pho-inspired wrap almost. It's like a burrito. So it's the pho-rito.
The what?
The pho-rito.
The four? That
Yeah,
thing's
so it has,
packed. Look at that.
It has all the ingredients that mimic what a pho is, and it's actually delicious.
My God, it looks
One
amazing.
of my favorites, yeah. And then of course the sweet potato fries.
Yeah,
and
which I just tasted.
all that
They're
stuff.
awesome. I'm a sucker for sweet potato fries. I can't avoid them anywhere I go. All right, so this style that you've adapted, that you've had there now, is the menu same for lunch and dinner, or is there variations?
It's same menu, lunch and dinner, yeah.
That's awesome. So you
And
get a
then
choice.
now we do weekend brunches now as well. We have a brunch menu as well.
On Saturday and Sunday, or both days?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday? Awesome. Another place downtown that's doing brunch. So you just had, and I was talking back and forth with your partner Oscar last week. So you guys just had to have a crazy weekend with Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's going to be, it was a crazy weekend. This weekend coming up as well, especially with
Graduation
graduation
weekends.
weekend.
Yep.
Again, we love challenges
And I got invited to something coming up in your place, I think in a week or two. The governor's got an event there.
Yep.
Yep.
No,
So I
the
got,
governor has, we have a lot of fundraisers that they like to utilize our space for fundraisers and whatnot, which is, again, amazing. We love to be able to support all the locals. And
so that was a question that I actually had on there, because someone I think was referencing back to when Finnegan's was there in that back room. Before we get to the cocktails, I want to get this question because it's a good thing talking about the events. Are you able to still host private events on a regular basis? So
Yes.
if they can rent that back area to kind of do it for
absolutely.
you? Okay.
So if anyone ever has questions, just feel free to reach out to us, and we'll definitely be able to steer you in the right
When you do that, is it a separate menu they can order and kind of make a?
Yeah, so we do offer some other options as well. We have like a big pasta that we do as well. That's actually a kind of crowd favorite for everyone. We do have a separate menu just for
the special event
itself.
types
Yeah,
of things.
exactly.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now to get to the fun stuff that's part of this about the cocktails. So if you've gone online and seen their things, then I put a couple of your pictures up of amazing cocktails that you guys
Thank
have
you,
had.
thank you.
The hospitality crew was kind of telling me, the guys from Cersei are friends of yours and come
Yep.
in there and hang
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
And they were telling me what great cocktails you had. So to know that the hospitality industry is complimenting your cocktails.
Yeah. I mean, I love to take pages out of Jesse and Vita will be
Yep.
joining on.
Vito's
later
coming
on.
on soon, yep.
Yeah, we love. They're actually kind of like one of my mentors. So
Awesome.
I definitely always like to pay their my respects to them. I've always kind of inspired every time I get to hang out with them, and
That's fantastic to hear. And it's good, like I said, it goes back to the camaraderie of it and knowing that you guys can all work together. To hear that they've had chefs that come into the restaurant, Cortland Club only being 6 months old,
Yep.
is a great thing to hear as well. So
Yeah.
it pays homage to all of us and how this community comes together. So from your perspective, you've been doing the bar side of things for a while now.
For the most part, I mean, I started with my brother at the restaurant Rancho Grande. He, another mentor of mine as well. He taught me pretty much everything, the bar side of it, and then kind of being able to expand and hang out with the guys.
Well,
at the
let me
door
tell you,
and
your
stuff.
brother likes strong cocktails.
Yeah, yeah.
The cocktail he brought in for me, I thought I was going to fall over on the floor, and he just kept drinking it. He was
Yeah.
all set to go.
He's more of the straight spirited person. He doesn't necessarily like to. I prefer like a little bit more refreshing cocktails. He's a little bit more of the
hard stuff, huh?
boozier, yeah.
So tell us about the style of what you brought today. What do we got here?
So these are actually 2 cocktails that are going to be popping up on our new spring menu.
Awesome.
We like to switch up our menu periodically through the seasons and pick up certain notes that are in season as well. So
What do we
the
got
one
in
that
this
you have in your glass right there is a tequila cocktail with a little bit of grapefruit juice, a little Aperol, and elderflower liqueur. It's topped off with a little champagne and some lemon zest on top.
So I keep hearing about elderflower liqueur. Is that becoming it's like
It's a very spring forward kind of ingredient. It's very floral. It's nice and light. Adds a little.
it's got some zest to it. That's really nice.
And again, just the lemon zest kind of peeled over it gives it a nice aromatic.
So you'd mentioned that you kind of, in paying homage to these guys that are on today, where are your ideas and thoughts coming from outside of that? Are you kind of playing behind the bar and creating new things, looking at different concepts and ingredients?
Actually, I don't do it as much as I like to now, but I always like to dabble in and try to push myself a little bit more just to see what else I can accomplish with certain things. I noticed I started to become a little too repetitive with certain things. I try to make sure I'm focusing on.
And it seems from, I mean, just mentioning the elderflower and going to some, you said the spring stuff that's coming up, it seems like the ingredients can be anything you want. You can kind of concoct whatever you want, play around with different things.
And that's one thing that I like to do over there at Black Sheep, where most of our ingredients we're turning into syrups. So I do a raspberry syrup, for instance, for our Black Sheep meal that we do. It's a little small variation on a regular Moscow Mule, a little bit of vodka,
Okay.
fresh lime juice, a little raspberry syrup, and then just topped off with the
Awesome.
ginger beer.
And what's this one you bring?
This one is a whiskey cocktail with a little muddled raspberries, a little Aperol, which is an Italian liqueur, some lemon, and some honey syrup as well.
All right, I got to try this one for sure. Are you finding, and thinking about this, so you kind of mentioned in the beginning that you started out with more of the bar style and the menu's kind of adapted over the last year. Are you finding now that more people are coming in and ordering the cocktails rather than just thinking of it as a place to go for a quick beer or something?
Yes and no. I mean, there's definitely people that if they know exactly what they're looking for, they'll know what cocktails we offer.
Oh my God, that's so good.
They also like to. I mean, for instance, every Thursday night we have martini night.
Okay.
So there's a lot of we do a lot of fun martinis on the menu as well.
So on a night like that, when you do it, is it people enjoying as well as getting educated on the different styles?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, we like to kind of play with fresh ingredients and again, kind of try to educate other people. For example, what the difference between a shaken martini and a stirred martini is.
I've had to ask that question, so I can relate to that. Honest to God, I've had to ask that question, so I can relate to that. But it seems to me, and I know that, and you and Vito, I'll be able to ask the same questions too in this stance, but it seems to me that people, and is thinking about where your location is, people are coming out now wanting to get more educated, wanting to know how to pair it with food, what the different things are that can go in there. And people will order it at the place that they go, like Black Sheep, but then they'll try to mimic it at home at some point. And to me, this is my problem, is that I'll always come to you guys because I can't ever get it. I mean, I mess up a gin and tonic at home, which is pretty bad, So I'm always coming to you guys to try to figure this out. And one of the reasons for this segment is for folks like me that are getting more used to enjoying cocktails and coming up for the summer. Have you guys, so you said you got the martini night, is there any other special nights that you do for the drinks and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Monday nights we do $3 draft beers. Most of our cocktails, we try not to discount them. We like to price them adequately where it's a reasonable pricing. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that the quality of the cocktails are
Right. And that takes time to accomplish that and have the right people like yourself behind there doing it. And also getting the right ingredients, making sure you're not buying, so to speak, this alcohol or this booze that's out there that's low quality. You're not going to make the drink taste right.
And then that's one of the things also, like knowing your spirit, knowing what you like to drink, building your own palate. That's something that I always like to try to educate people about, especially more with tequila and mezcal, but that's a whole other conversation.
So, but there's people that are finding in that realm, talking about the tequila and the mezcal and stuff like that are finding that they're just, like your brother, drinking it straight, finding an acquired taste for it, and it's becoming more popular, it seems now.
It is, and it's honestly a conversation I can go on and on about, but me being able to go to the distilleries and meeting the producers behind the actual spirits themselves, it's a really amazing experience, and knowing what they appreciate more is you enjoying the actual spirit. They love the whole cocktail industry. It's great. It gets to sell their product, but at the same time, always at the end of the day, if you know what you like to drink, especially with mezcal itself, where it's like, I've had a conversation with some producers. I was like, oh, I love to do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, cool. But then I realized that it wasn't really resonating with them well, because you're kind of masking the spirit in
the actual spirit, yeah.
So once you start telling them, oh, I love to drink it straight, I buy a bottle with some friends, we like to hang out, and
then they're a little more opening up as to how to enjoy
great,
it.
Awesome, and then.
So have you, with the style of the menu that you've had over there and people being able to now come in and do this, are you finding that you're looking at something like the salmon dish and saying, you know what, I know what cocktail I can have with that?
Yeah.
Say that's
so I mean, again, most of these cocktails will go great with this. I mean, the salmon is very a nice, light dish, especially with the fried Brussels sprouts. It will go fantastic with that tequila and bubbles on the side.
Well, these are both amazing. I'm probably going to be diving into this before I leave today because this looks awesome as well. But you guys have done a great job over there. I'm happy that you've taken this focus. And it sounds like with you is that it's helped elevate it with all your partners. Each of you guys have got your own.
We all have something that we bring to the table, and we're always backing each other up. And always, again, the support is what makes Black Sheep.
Well, Oscar, I'm glad that I haunted you so that I could get another mezza in here. It's like in 1 month I get 2 mezza brothers. So I'm glad I haunted you down, Oscar. But thank you for making the time. I really appreciate it. And we'll be by to see you again soon. So
definitely.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to eat some more of this as soon as we get off. Taylor, you're going to have to fight me for these fries.
I think I've seen that.
I know, you probably will. You're probably right. Do we have Vito Reddy's out there?
Yeah.
All right. So I thought I saw the chef my favorite chef from the Dorrance walking around. I thought I saw him outside a minute ago, so that must mean that Vito's going to come in with something because he wouldn't leave the Dorrance unless he was walking over with something. Come on in.
Hey,
look at
what's
this.
up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good. I did see the chef coming in,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
All
He
right.
wouldn't trust me to take his dish over here
He
without him.
wouldn't trust you.
No,
I
no.
love it.
So he
Look at that.
wanted to put it together right in back here, so
Oh my God, that's
that
awesome.
it was fresh and ready to go. So
He is the best. I've known him for a long time. Great guy.
he's a wonderful guy to have in an alley too. If you're ever
Really?
in a bar fight,
He's
it's,
scrappy, right?
He's a really good guy to have. Yeah.
Thanks for making the time, Vito. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
of course.
And I know I'm going to give a shout out to Regina and Michael. Are they still in New York?
I think they're getting back today.
They're getting back today. So I was talking to Regina while she was in New York, and she made it so that we could get Vito to come on and join us. The Dorrance for a very long. How old are you now? God,
7?
7 years
Yeah, I
old.
think we just turned 7.
So for the last 7 years has been known as a cocktail spot to go to. You guys have gotten some world-renowned press out there.
We have, and we're some of the people that you've already had on were part of our opening team there. So we're kind of the stump that started this weird, nerdy cocktail tree that, that has grown in Providence. And we had just an amazing team at the beginning, and now they're all over Providence. And
And it pays homage to the style of things too. And you know,
Really does.
Marco was just complimenting you and saying that he's learned things out of your playbook, and you know how you guys are all mentors and work together. And I have this conversation with Regina, the owner of the Dorrance, is that we have all come together in so many ways. You guys just hosted the pie event
Yes,
that you had
yeah,
over there.
it was ridiculous,
Oh my
yeah,
God, that was
yeah.
crazy. If you want to go on and see it, you want to laugh, you got to go on and check out this pie event on I think it's YouTube, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's all over the place.
it
You
was
gotta check
everything the Marx Brothers wanted it to be. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So tell me about, we've heard about the Dorrance, we've talked about the Dorrance before, Regina's been in a couple times for us, but really what I want to talk about is your background, how you got into this, and then talk about the style of the menu and the cocktails that you have now.
Sure. I grew up in the business, so I was raised in taverns. I'm the son of a barman, so cocktails and bars were always just the funnest place for me. It always just seemed like the place to be. So I've always loved, I mean, this sounds like a raging alcoholic talking, but I've always loved bars. They're just fun. They're exciting. You never know what's going to happen. Every day is different.
Right.
So I've worked, now I'm 21 plus years into the business, and I've worked at just about every kind of bar you can possibly imagine. I was drawn more to the nerdy cocktail side when I moved here. I was working at a great place in Hoboken, New Jersey that did all fresh ingredients. We made beautiful drinks, but then when I moved to Providence, actually working with Jesse, we really started to elevate our game a little bit and do some more making our own syrups and using some cooler ingredients and getting back into a style of bartending from, pre-prohibition.
Right.
Pretty old school.
So you've really seen the evolution, because you just mentioned Prohibition, and that's so funny is because that's when you see it, and it's crazy to think about it at a time when alcohol was illegal. That's when it flourished.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just flourish from the fact of people drinking, but the style. Like everybody wanted something
Yeah.
creative, something different, something
And
new
you,
was out there.
you really needed to impress to get people to come to your specific place.
Right.
So bartenders weren't like they are, now of just somebody who's pouring a beer and a shot and listening to your problems. It was more like the way we think of chefs now. So bartenders all had their own specific styles, and they used great ingredients, and it was a really exciting place. And then they let women in the bar, and that made it even better. So it was like everybody wanted to hang out and have great drinks. And
Well, and I think, and specifically in your case too, I think it's about forming relationships. Is that I've been there where I've come in, and you guys have been there like, oh, I know what you had last time, but you got to try this time.
Yep.
To do that. And I think that's again to your credit for there, but also from the consumer base of wanting to become more educated and try new things.
Well, that's our whole goal. Is our goal isn't to teach you about some vermouth you've never heard about and talk to you for 27 minutes about botanicals and herbs. Our goal is for you to have fun. I want you to have a great time. If you want to drink a Cosmo and have a great time, awesome. If you want to Narragansett and have a great time, if you want to nerd out and talk crazy about cocktails and spirits,
You can do it.
We can do it. It's great, but I just want people to have fun. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's everything I've learned from working in neighborhood taverns and sports bars and dive bars and cafes
That's just
and Italian restaurants, all kind of into one. So
Well-
we really try to be everything for everybody.
And you've done a fantastic job. So before we get to this, and this is smelling amazing, it's going to make me want to devour everything today. So before we get to this, tell us about an overview of how many different cocktails, because right now you've got a list.
We do. Actually, right now, we when I really came back on board full-time, I wanted to pay homage to all the people who were there before and kind of show off where they went to now. So right now we're running our greatest hits menu. Awesome. So we've taken all the greatest drinks, and it took me like 3 days and a few fist fights over Like I got it down to 30 drinks,
Really?
and then had to get it down to like 16. So every drink on there right now is an absolute banger. They're all amazing
greatest
cocktails. And you'll see drinks by Jesse, who was just on. You'll see drinks by our friend Harrison, who's at Dead Rabbit in New York City right now, which is the best bar in America.
That is so cool.
You'll see drinks by everybody who spent time behind that bar. The best thing that they did, and it actually, our menu is kind of cool because it shows where they are now too. So you can kind of see, like we were talking about before, that stump
so cool.
and where everybody has gone. So
That's
it's
awesome.
it's really cool, and every drink is amazing.
So the greatest hits is what the people are going to look for.
Right now, this is the greatest hits menu. Yeah.
All right, so what'd you bring me today?
Today I brought you 2 drinks, and I brought you our North Atlantic halibut from Chef. He insisted that I bring you the fish dish.
He knows that I love seafood. That's
yes.
awesome.
So really beautiful local ingredients, local carrots. We've got Kalamata olives, tomatoes over jasmine rice, and halibut. The drink that pairs best, I feel, with it is a drink called the Briar Rose.
This is the Briar Rose
This
here?
is the Briar Rose. It's a gin-based cocktail, and it uses Damrak gin, which when you're working with gins, a lot of people, when they hear gin, they think pine trees, and I don't like gin, and gin never really worked for me.
Oh my God, that's so much flavor.
But this is a really beautiful gin to work with citrus. They actually use pulp. Instead of just using juniper and then peels and herbs, they use actual orange, lemon, grapefruit pulp. So it's a really bright gin, and it just dances when you make a citrus drink with it, when you shake it up. So it's got Damrak gin, fresh lemon juice. It's got a blackberry and hibiscus tea syrup that we make in-house, and then a little bit of Metoxa, which is a rose brandy. That gives it some of those cool floral notes.
Oh my God, it's so. I wasn't expecting, when you're talking about gin-based, I wasn't expecting so much flavor.
It's
behind it.
really, for people who are like, I don't like gin, this is one of those great drinks you can make them that, you know, if they're vodka drinkers, that makes them go, oh, well, maybe I do like gin.
I can totally see
It's really
drinking that
approachable
and eating that for
goes
sure.
fantastic with this dish, too.
My God, I can totally see that. See, and this is where, and you know, we were talking. Regina's been on with me, and Michael Lester, Regina's husband, who is a wine person like myself, but it's also into cocktails. But this is where we want to educate everyone and want to go out there, is that going to the Dorrans, being able to bring Vito out and talk to him and say, okay, I'm having the halibut tonight, what's the perfect cocktail to go with it? I would take this in a heartbeat. I'd probably still have my glass of wine at some point during the night, not gonna lie, but I would take this in a heartbeat to try this, because in tasting this and knowing how good this dish is from the chef, it's perfect.
Yeah, they're both floral, they're both really bright, they're great for the spring, for the summer, they just kind of hold hands as you have dinner.
So is it happening, I mean, I have to imagine at the Dorrans it is because of your style, but is it happening more and more that people are coming in and saying, I'm going to have this tonight, what do you recommend?
Yes, yeah, that happens a lot now. We're lucky enough, like I said, to kind of be in it long enough to where people trust us. Right. So, you know, instead of the people who, when we first opened up, saying, I only drink Captains and Cokes, I only drink this. Now people are kind of opening up and saying, okay, I'm going to order this. What do you recommend? And that's really a lot of fun for us.
And I had this conversation with Regina probably back around the holidays, is I had someone that was doing a holiday dinner / party there, and they wanted specialty cocktails. They wanted it to be different for their guests, something that came out. So even people from an event standpoint, which the Dorrans, you guys are perfected, from weddings to corporate to social, the space that you have there is awesome for it. But I think that that's happening more now, which was great for me from an event professional side of things, to see that people were caring that much about uplifting their event.
Yeah, and it's not just, I mean, it's weddings, it's events. It's not like the old days of I have an open bar and somebody brings in a cart that's got one whiskey, one tequila, one gin, one vodka. Now brides, when they come in, that's one of the things that they say when they want weddings at our places. You guys make the best cocktails.
We want a specialty cocktail.
Can you make us a cocktail? So it's kind of cool to have, have the bride has her specific drink, the groom has his specific drink. They could be completely different, and it's a lot more fun for their guests.
So I've noticed that even more in the events side of things that I'm doing now, is that instead of going even with the full bars, we're offering beer, wine, and 4 or 5 different specialty cocktails, because people enjoy it more, and they're trying. You're getting them out of their comfort zone to try things. Yeah. So
people want nice things. It's not that hard to follow. I mean, just think back to the old days when you used to go to a gas station and you got a cup of coffee that may have been there sitting for 3 days on the same burner. Now you go to a Shell and there's 17 different choices.
Coffee,
there's Green Mountain. There's all these there's breakfast blend. It's like you don't have to go to the finest dining, fanciest places to get nice things. We all want nice things, and we want them to be approachable and not intimidating. And you don't want to feel like an idiot when you're ordering stuff. You just want to go in and try stuff.
Vito's nailed it. All right, so before I let you go, we got to go to this last one. What do we got?
Yes, this is my favorite drink I've ever made.
Your favorite
this
drink?
This is my absolute favorite drink. It's kind of an homage to my grandfather.
Unique presentation.
Yes, it's called the Smoking Gun. done. It was originally called the Nick, which is my grandpa's name. So it's a Geneva gin, which is the original gin that's leaning more towards a whiskey. It's not really a gin at all. It's malty. It's got a higher proof whiskey in it that bumps up the ABV a little bit, gives it a little bit of body, a little fire, makes it really long. It's got an Italian Amaro that gives it a little sweetness and a little bitter at the end.
Sweetness on the finish.
Yeah, and then what really brings it together is a Havana and Hyde bitters. So it's basically a Cuban-style tobacco and leather bitters.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like drinking an old-fashioned out of a baseball glove, in the best possible way.
No, but there's a lot of, it's again, not the type of flavor to this, but I wouldn't put this down.
The exact opposite drink.
Right.
Yeah, a really beautiful sipper if you like Manhattans, if you like old fashions. It's boozy. It's not the kind of thing you have 5 of.
Right.
But it's a really great drink to sip on, and it just goes so well with our decor and our vibe in the place too. Kind of that old school Madman, Manhattan, old fashioned kind of vibe.
So my last question for you before I let you go, because you've done a fantastic overview for us. Is there a style or maybe even a specific drink that kind of resonates right now as one of your favorites? And I know you probably have a few, so I'm just saying for maybe one of your favorites.
I'm really excited to see people going back to old fashions. As much as I love grabbing 7 bottles to make a drink, there's just something so beautiful and pure about an old fashioned. An old fashioned is just spirit, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of bitters. And when you stir them, it kind of lets the spirit shine a little bit more. It lets the spirit show off. So if you've got these gorgeous bourbons that have been sitting in barrels for 7 to 10 years, and you're grabbing all these other bottles, you're kind of disrespecting it a little bit. So
it's so funny because Marco just said the same thing when he was coming in. He was saying about honoring the actual
Sure,
grain, the actual alcohol that's there. That's an awesome point.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going over to the Dorrance, which I know a lot of people have been going over on a regular basis, and there's some busy weekends and stuff coming up, even Waterfire weekends going up, talk to him about a cocktail. Ask him what cocktail will go with your meal, because Vito's got it down and they've got a great team over there. So I'm Rick Simone. Thank you for joining me on The Taste today. I hope you enjoyed our captivating cocktails. Next week we'll be covering National Wine Day and have some great wine representation coming in. So completely switching gears from that. But I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you for joining me today. Vito, this was awesome.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it, man.
much.
It was awesome.
This was